Ask Yuri. You've got a health and fitness question? I've got an answer. All right, welcome to another episode of Ask Yuri. Today I'm answering a question from Kenny who wants to know about the metabolic typing diet, and I can't remember the question, so I'm going to put the question up right now. And essentially he wants to know about metabolic typing. Is there any validity to that? Because some people don't necessarily respond the same way to the same foods. So you can read the question right here. And as you do that, let me make a little bit of sense for this. So this is a great question, and I think it's very valid because it's very naive for experts or really anyone to say that we are only as human beings meant to eat one specific way. So there's people who are fanatical saying that we're only supposed to eat bananas and fruit. That's all we're supposed to eat, no matter if you live in Scandinavia or if that's where your family is from. So in an area where fruits don't even grow normally other than cranberries perhaps, yet you're supposed to eat bananas and tropical fruit, and that's the way it's supposed to be. It's a very narrow focused view of human health. And also those who say that we should all be eating lots of meat and we should all be eating like a huge very paleo type of diet doesn't necessarily mean that's going to work for you. So I don't know too much about metabolic typing. It's essentially what it essentially means that there's different macronutrient breakdowns for different metabolic types, and this is different from the blood type diet, so don't get those too confused. But essentially what I can impart to you is that what works for me doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for you. So for me, I know without a shadow of a doubt that eating more raw plant-based foods is the way for me. I know my body works the best on that, and I'll have meat occasionally and fish and stuff like that. But for me to eat like a hardcore paleo, high amounts of meat type of diet, I'll be falling asleep every single meal. Okay, as an example, we had roasted chicken the other night. Wholesome, just roasted, beautiful stuff, and just amazingly flavorful. And we had it with lots of veggies. Within half an hour of the meal, I'm like toast, I'm done. And that's simply because my digestive system couldn't handle breaking down the meat and the protein and stuff. So my best advice to you is that so Kenny or anyone else listening to this or watching this, is that you need to understand what works best for you, and who cares about whatever everyone else is doing, okay? So the best thing you can do for yourself is to experiment on yourself. Consider yourself a human guinea pig and just try different things. And note, again, I've talked about this before, that food journal, tracking your progress, tracking how you feel. If I had chicken for dinner and I felt just drained of energy for the rest of the evening, then I'm going to make a note of that. So the next time I have chicken, I'm going to know, do I feel the same way, right? All other things being equal. And if I consistently see that pattern, then I'm going to say, you know what? Maybe my body doesn't really like chicken too much. It doesn't necessarily mean that there's an intolerance or a sensitivity to it. Maybe it's just that my stomach is just so weak that it can't properly break down the protein or the meat, right? So what might help in that case is some hydrochloric acid, a digestive enzyme, and I can try a little experiments with those to see if there's a difference. And so this is what you want to do. This is really all you can do, is continue to experiment on yourself. Take advice from me, from other people, be it as you may. But at the end of the day, you need to try things out and see what's going to work best for you. So if the next person says, hey man, you got to eat steak every single day, or you can only eat plant foods, that's all you should be eating. And again, the thing is, there's scientific evidence for all of it. Okay, the thing is, it's very, very overwhelming. So in addition to just kind of educating yourself, you really need to experiment, because it doesn't matter what the science shows. All that matters is what makes you feel good. And if you're going to be doing some kind of lab kind of blood work on yourself to actually see what's working, then that's obviously helpful as well, right? Because you can feel good taking cocaine, but I'm not going to recommend that. But it doesn't necessarily mean that's making your body, it's not doing good for your body, obviously, right? So feeling good can sometimes be a little bit deceiving. Right? So you want to see that you want to make sure you're not missing any important micronutrients or minerals, or you don't have any deficiencies, or your body's not breaking down without you knowing it. So just experiment on yourself, find what works best for you, and that's it. Okay, that's the most important thing you can do for yourself. And again, remember that every point of your life is a journey. You're gonna feel differently now than you will in 5 years, and you might have to change your diet accordingly, or maybe not. So that's my best advice for you, Kenny. Hopefully that helped you out. Hopefully that's helped you out. And if you want to learn more about this nutrition thing and make a little bit more sense of it, then be sure to check out our Super Nutrition Academy program. At the very minimum, actually, download your free reports called the Big Fat Food Lies, and this will give you some really, really important stuff. It'll actually disclose 7 nutrition myths that are keeping you sick, fat, and frustrated. We'll talk about a lot of stuff like protein, fats, all that good stuff that you need to know about. And it'll give you better direction as to make sense of all this stuff. So anyways, the URL is down here somewhere. You can grab it for free, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.